it's really with great pleasure that I'm here chairing this conference. Over the last, should I say, like decades, the idea of you are what you eat is becoming very central to the disease and cure process. More and more, we're recognizing the value of nutrition, not just in the area of energy and so on, but in the area of immunobiology and now in the area of oxidative stress. We've always linked them, but we're getting more evidence every day that what we eat really matters when it comes to disease and taking care of disease. I am not going to claim to be an expert on glutathione metabolism. Sorry. But we know it's essential to our well-being. I'm not going to preempt the lectures, but more and more nutrition we're beginning to understand more how what we eat interacts with our general well-being. We're learning that what we eat affects what we call as well the microbiome. You know, I will always bring it to microorganisms. We're learning that what we eat affects how we deal with oxidative stress. We know glutathione is very important there, but how do you use that in an artificial way? That has been the problem. And I think while we're here today, we're going to understand a little bit more about oxidative stress, and we're going to understand how someone has been able to make it something that we can take as supplements. That has been the problem to date. So I want to ask you, as all have asked you before, to really listen. And as provost, I'm also going to say, how do we do more work in this area and recognize more things so that we can learn from this and use it in other areas so that we can see more benefits, things that we need, that we have not been able to synthesize, or even synthesize but have not been able to use. And those are things we should also take away from this conference. So I welcome you all to the conference, and I ask you to have a very impactful conference. Thank you very much.
And so, instead of the first lecture, I'll call the second lecturer. And the title is Oxidative Stress, Glutathione, and Ribosine. And it's by no other person than Dr. A. Oshinobi. Please let me know.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I seek this opportunity to recognize I wouldn't want to rest on existing protocols, though it has been well established. I must give honor to our eminent guests on the head table. The Provost, Professor F.T. Omishola, the Deputy Provost, Professor Sunday Akimbo, my very good friend, the Director of Quality Assurance and Servicom Office of the Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, Professor Eloti, also my very good friend. Anyway, almost everybody there is my very good friend. Professor Fasomade, CMAG, my very good friend as well. The Dean, Faculty of Clinical Sciences, my very good friend and my big brother, Professor Leshi. I welcome you to the high table with a round of applause. You know, when you have a microphone, you have power. He has told me there that he wouldn't want to come to the interview, and I know exactly what I was going to do. And of course, also my very good friend, last Saturday, definitely not the college secretary, the man who signs from one extreme of paper to another extreme. He's a barrister, Mr. Assis, you are welcome, sir. And of course, my distinguished guest, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all. You are here on time, will be well spent here. I will discuss it on oxidative stress, glutathione, and ribosome. It may interest you to note that we lose every year about 60 million people. Out of this, we lose 17 million people to heart diseases. Cancers of different forms claim about 8.2 to 8.5 million annually. Diabetes claims about 1.5 million annually. Nigeria has the highest number of people living with diabetes in Africa. 2 years ago, Dr. Fasomali and myself and another colleague of ours, we brought out an advertorial and sent it to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, informing him and the general public that there is an epidemic proportion of diabetes in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, the good news here is that about 50% of these diseases of deaths are preventable. Actually, some of our other authors have got about 80 to 85% of these deaths actually being preventable. At any point in time, studies have documented that half of the world populace, meaning that about 3.5 billion people, are under one form of stress or the other. Another half, that is about 3.5 billion people, actually are suffering from one form of pain or the other at any point in time. But I'm telling you here today that the path to break free from all these ailments and pains, they actually lie with us. If you have been asked today, who are you? You would have probably told me your name. But for me, as an anatomist, if I'm asked who am I would probably have told you that I'm an embodiment of over 70 trillion of cells working perfectly together in unity and unison. However, embryology tells us briefly that we all start as just one cell, going to 2 cell stage, 4 cell stage, and so on and so forth, until we become a fully grown human being, with some cells migrating to different areas of the human body, forming different organs like the brain, the lungs, the heart, the liver, the kidney, and then the reproductive. All these cells all together must work together. They must function together for you to have a perfect human being, made up of over 70 trillion cells and over 200 cell types. Every day, we lose about 40 billion of cells. Again, studies have documented that when we take into cognizance the red blood cells, we most likely lose about 300 billion of cells every day, out of which we make about 200 to 250 back every day. Thank goodness to one important molecule here, and that is glutathione. All these cells must work together because of glutathione that is here. However, the greatest enemies to these cells are what we call free radicals. These are highly reactive substances, they're very dangerous substances, which in a layman's language I'm liking them to area boys and area girls. They do nothing but to seek for destruction of our cells.
For example, this is a normal cell here, and this is a cell that has been attacked by free radicals, and this is the result. Of course, this cell here can never perform the same function as the normal cell, and this goes on every second, every minute, every day of our life. And I say here that we die instrumentally, and because this does not destroy the body at once, very often we don't take notice of this. Sometimes the free radicals are not actually able to steal electrons. They are not actually able to take electrons from normal substances like proteins, like carbohydrates, like lipids, but eventually they change the conformation. And for example, a protein that is attacked by free radicals, that has undergone conformational change, of course, can never perform the same function as this. And we see this a lot. You go to the hospital, they have done every test, nothing has been found. Most likely there has been a denaturation of the protein. But let's look briefly at the sources of these dangerous substances we call free radicals. From energy production, that same pathway that produces energy, that same pathway produces a lot of free radicals. For example, most of the energy in the human body comes from the mitochondria. Meanwhile, the mitochondria as well are the major sources of free radicals in the human body. Inflammation, a lot of infection, pain, stress. If I ask you here, is there anybody here that's not under stress? For that person is not alive. So we are daily being attacked by stress. I mean, again, if I ask you, maybe you eat healthy, I will tell you that by my own definition, healthy diet means that you take at least 7 servings of fruits every day, and you take 7 servings of vegetables every day. And I doubt everybody is taking that there. An apple a day will keep the doctor away. No, you will always need me. Somebody's be economical with the fruit. An apple a day can never keep you away from me. You will always need me. I'm telling you all this so that you can do away without, you can do away from me. From my clinic, you don't need to report. Okay. Liver detoxification processes, medication, alcohol, these are. But the major sources of free radicals in our body, the major sources of these dangerous substances are actually environmental in nature, industrial smoke. If I ask you here today, how many of us smoke here? Anybody? Anybody know? Anybody? Anybody? But the truth is that a lot of us are smokers. It's not just everyone smoking that people talking about. By the way, there is no vehicle in this world that does not smoke. Any vehicle that does not smoke cannot move. Except you are living in an oxygen tent, except you work in an oxygen tent, except your home is an oxygen tent, then you are not exposed to smoke. I mean, a study was done in the US. 80,000 dangerous chemicals circulate in the air, in water, in our food. Out of which 200 are in our bloodstream. I mean, this study was done in the US. How many dangerous chemicals are circulating in Nigeria in the atmosphere? If 80,000 dangerous chemicals are circulating in New York, I mean, your debts are too as well. Australian government grade. Recently, NASA came out with a proposition to check the effect of cosmic rays on travelers. So they intend to take some animals down to space and suspend them for several months to several years. Of course, we are still working on that now. But the ozone layer has been seriously depleted. We are gradually being exposed to more ultraviolet radiation. The geographer has just told us last month, I don't know how many of you are aware, the core magnet within the Earth core has undergone serious and drastic reduction. The reduction the geographers were expecting over 200 years. They got it within 20 years. If you watch the northern pole, it has shifted a little bit. But the implication to our Earth system is that these core magnets within the Earth, what does it do? It repels dangerous rays from bombarding us from outer planet. So once these are gone undergone some reduction, that means the dangerous cosmic rays are doing nothing but to bombard us. And we are not surprised that there is incidence of a lot of chronic diseases, cancer being number 1. Radiation, X-rays. I mean, in Nigeria, there is hardly anybody like me that is just using 1 line. Most of us are using 2 or 3 lines. And God will help you are telling MTN or Blue again to come bring their mask beside your house, all because of money. You are irradiating yourself. You know, these are highly deadly substances. Again, I mean, microwaves. Anybody still using microwave in my audience? Anybody? No, you are probably dangerously living. These are highly dangerous. So studies have been documented. You put certain food inside before the microwave, check the chemical content. After the microwave, the minimum you are going to get is times 50, I can assure you. All what you are eating is no longer food. You are no longer eating any nutrition. All what you are taking actually is nutritionally depleted material, not food. And material infested with free radicals. That is exactly what you are taking. Of course, air pollution is among others. This is showing us pictorial. Of course, a lot of us are second-hand smokers, and this is just telling me in a nutshell the dangers in this. It has also been well documented that most of the damages done by this substance called self-food is actually generation of free radicals almost everywhere. But now let's pause a little bit. It's definitely likely that God, in His wisdom, knew that we will be coming up with a lot of this technology. So within us, there are endogenous antioxidants. The major one is glutathione. Of course, distant second, alpha lipoxas and distant third, coenzyme Q. Of course, we all know vitamin C, vitamin. But look, to understand the importance of this most important molecule in the human body to remain healthy. Compared to vitamin C, as common as vitamin C, if you check the PubMed right now, just Google right now, you will never find more than 50,000 articles on vitamin C on PubMed. But you check, do a random check right now, you find over 120,000 articles on glutathione. Understanding the importance of this product. Quickly, I'm sure a lot of people are here, they are connected. Just Google something now. Most powerful antioxidant in the human body. What do you think you will get? I hope you are Googling. Are you sure? Okay. The only antioxidant that replenishes itself. Are you sure?
Yes.
Oh, very obvious. They are very fast. They are even faster than me. The only antioxidant that recycles itself. You are sure about that? Only antioxidant that helps convert other antioxidants back to their reduced state. Good. You know why this is very important? Vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin K. Before I make a look that we have exhausted on the alphabet. From A to Z, you can name, you get any vitamin from there. But the truth is that none of these vitamins will ever work without glutathione. As a matter of fact, years ago, we discovered that when we gave very high doses of vitamin C, it became counterproductive. But we don't know the reason very clearly now. It's not just being deposited in the acidification taking place in the liver or in the kidney. The problem is that every other antioxidant, by the time they have scavenged the free radicals, they themselves become what? Radicals. They become radicals. So as you are increasing the dose of vitamin C, you are mopping up the glutathione. When these vitamins are being converted to free radicals themselves, they are passed down to what? Glutathione to be reconverted. So if you exhaust the glutathione, by the time you are increasing the dose of any other vitamins, you are creating more free radicals. If you Google again the mother of all antioxidants, what are you going to get? Oh, great. If you Google this, the gatekeeper of the human body. Are you sure?
Yes.
Somebody is saying the Holy Spirit. It's actually glutathione you get. The most important molecule in the human body necessary for perfect health. Good. The great protector of human cells. What are you going to get? Amazing. The superhero of all antioxidants. What are you going to get? Round of applause for yourselves. You go for the now you are alive. But look, I recognize the biochemist that gave me this. It's not my slide. What this slide is showing us is that, for example, vitamin E, vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin. By the time they have scavenged free radicals, they have to pass the electron down to glutathione for them to be reconverted. Otherwise, they become pro-oxidized themselves. For optimal health, you need oxygen, water, food, and glutathione. The absence of any one of these factors will cause your cells to struggle to remain healthy. But I've changed the order now. Oxygen and glutathione are on the same level. And I will tell you simply the reason for doing that. If you take so much oxygen without glutathione, if you put a metal iron layer on the table overnight, what do you think will happen at the end of the day by tomorrow? It will have rusted. If you take oxygen, literally take oxygen without glutathione, you will rust. May you never rust. But that is what will happen. He's tormented death. But look at it. And this has been well documented. Talking about glutathione content of the human cells is, the depletion. If your glutathione level is low, if it goes drastically low, it has been well documented. Your cell is going to program cell death. It will be dying naturally. You know, that's exactly what and this has been well documented long ago. Again, glutathione is not just an antioxidant, it's an immune system enhancer. It has been well documented as well that for your immune system to function perfectly, they need certain amount of glutathione. Without it being there, your immune system can never function very well. And this is why some colleagues have gotten a lot of good responses on immunocompromised patients using this. Then again, glutathione is a great detoxifier of the human body. For those of you, for example, that school in an era way before I was born by the provost, like Professor Adeyemi and then the dean of the they went to school long before I was born. They must have used this, and I'm sure you remember now. In those days, by the time you are coming back from school, the place your mommy will look is at your chest, whether there are rings on your body. Once you don't have rings on your body, then you are not going to school. But you remember now, by the time you have run something and you add excess, you will blot it out with a blotting paper, right? That is exactly how glutathione acts in your body. It contracts and captures heavy metals, toxins, and free radicals from your body, and allow your liver, especially, and then kidneys to actually excrete it. Without it, you cannot. The heavy metals will be accumulating in your body. That's important. Glutathione also increases energy, slows down the aging process. Is there anybody in our audience who want to age very fast? Anybody raise up your hand if you want to age very fast? Very good. But if you want to age slowly like our provost, raise up your hand. So like just 30. You know our provost looks like 30. I will not tell you the secret yet. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. You know the secret now. I'm telling you. Again, if you go down, mental focus and clarity, I will emphasize on that later. Just performance. I say this. Performance in all areas. Performance at work. Performance also in the bedroom. Many in the house. Your case will not be like the case of one of our people in a church. The pastor was asking, all men should come out for Thanksgiving. All men should come out for Thanksgiving. We noticed that the man was being held down by the wife. The wife then told the pastor, he said, we are asking for men, not husband. I never knew the differences between man and husband on that day. The wife told the husband, are you sure you are a man? They are calling for men. But when your wife pleads you in the morning, you say, I will remember you, and you know what it means. There should be a very good balance between your free radicals that you are generating and then the antioxidants that are working on. Once there is no balance, there is a problem. Cancer can result, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, kidney, and a lot of diseases. In fact, I checked, and as at last time I checked, I have known disease that has not been linked either directly or remotely to low level of glutathione. Please, if you anytime you get one, just let me know. But look at this briefly. This was actually if you look at the cardiovascular disease, hypertension, asthma, to aging, toxicology, overdose of drugs, immunology, all the way to cancer. All these have been associated with low level of glutathione. I am worried. I can't not permit me to ask your worries, but I am worried as a teacher about Alzheimer because it's getting very common. I don't want to be a teacher. I want to teach to the very last day of my life. I don't want to go to a class. I don't want to go to a class and to find out that I have taught that same subject in the morning. And then only for my student to be telling me, oh, that you have taught us in the morning, I've been forgotten. Only for me to be asking, you mean I was ever in this class? But that is what can really happen. So these are been well documented to be associated. But I will quickly do a test. Can everybody rise? Let everybody rise. I want to quickly do a test. You know when you have a microphone, my eye take they to rise. From that disease, just do what? Sit down. If you know somebody who is suffering from the disease, just do what? Just sit down. That disease will never come upon you. Amen. So you know what I'm going to call first. Diabetes. Diabetes. You know somebody who has suffered from it? Hello. But I'm still going to 74 diseases that have been documented and established to be associated with low level of glutathione. And I've mentioned just one. You see how common it is? You guys don't believe me. Sit down. Doctor is already telling me I've not spent 10 minutes. He said I've spent 10 minutes. I did 10 minutes for Parkinson's disease. Is neuronal loss. The dopaminergic neurons in the substantia nigra of the midbrain. Okay? So, together with reduction in dopamine. However, we now know, as studies have documented this, even before the loss of neurons show, we already had what? Low level of glutathione. Monitoring levels of glutathione will definitely be a good marker in the very, very near future, I can tell you. To predict who and who is actually may come down with eventually with Parkinson's disease. The same thing, I've already talked about Alzheimer again, the same thing. It has been documented that low level of glutathione is associated with it. Okay? Autistic disorders, it has also been well documented. Remember, this is sometimes I think in 19 something. Okay? Now let's look at it. This is an unpublished work and it's going to come out this very year. I enumerated here why there is hardly going to be any patient, anybody, any human being living with diabetes that may ever have adequate amount of glutathione. It's almost impossible because there's a pathway called the podium pathway that actually uses up the glutathione, which will make people living with diabetes to actually suffer from most other diseases that are associated with low level of glutathione. Again, this is telling us that virtually everything in obstetric and gynecology, almost all the conditions you can name, have been well documented to be associated with low level. The same thing with male infertility. This has also been well documented. The skin is not under health. Perhaps your skin is like this, and you are thinking it's because you are in Africa. It's not true. If you like, go to the moon, your skin will remain like this. If you have low level of glutathione, because the oxygen radicals actually destroy the collagen fibers that are associated, that their function is actually to maintain the integrity of the skin. So once they are damaged, because of low level of glutathione, this is exactly what you are going to have. The same thing. Some people are still going about the high density lipoprotein, low density lipoprotein. No, we have gone beyond that now. What we are talking about now is the oxygen states of this agent. If, for example, you have high density lipoprotein that are supposed to be normal, okay, in terms of that, if they are oxidized already, they cannot do anything. You will use a lot of statin, you will never get any response. So what we are saying is that just raise the glutathione level of this patient and you can have amazing responses. The same thing with atherosclerosis. I've already talked about this. And this last but not the least, once free radicals damage DNA, and damaged DNAs are replicated, and they escape the restriction point proteins, that is protein P27 and P53, they are likely to cause mutation. That is that. And it happens frequently. And so we are not surprised that we are beginning to see preponderance of cancer in the environment. But look at the bad news here. At about the age of 20, your glutathione level boomers down. And by the time you are age 50, you are already having at minimum of 40% deficiency of glutathione. So you are not surprised that by the time you are 50, 60, is one pains or the other. By the time, as at this year, this is my 38th year of practicing medical profession. By the time I practiced for 15 years, I was afraid of getting old. Do you know why? Because virtually every patient I've ever seen above 50, they are always coming down to one pains or the other. So I was afraid of getting old. By the time I'm 50, this way I'm going to do. But thank God, because of Glutathione, I'm just starting now. Ladies and gentlemen, and this has been well documented. As your age increases, your glutathione level. This has been documented both in animal studies and human studies. As you grow older, your level of glutathione goes down. If glutathione is so important, somebody asked me one day, let's just give you a capsule and tablet and forget about this grammar. It's not as easy as that. Glutathione is a protein containing 3 amino acids. If it's taken orally, it will be destroyed. It is not easily available. In fact, some authorities are now telling us that for glutathione to be useful to you, it must be synthesized de novo inside your cell. It must be inside your cell. So if it's not inside your cell, it's not likely to work. So we now talk about different levels of glutathione. We talk about it in the plasma, we talk about it inside the cell. So the ones that are inside the cell are the ones that are really very important. What are people doing before now? What people have been doing before now is that people have been injecting themselves. The half-life of glutathione is less than 2 minutes. That means you need to keep on repeating and injecting yourself. How many people will know? Most people cannot do that. And again, it's highly expensive. The trademarked injectable of glutathione will cost nothing less than 200,000 naira per ampoule, and something that you need to be injecting and injecting. A lot of people cannot afford that. Also, the solution eventually came from the research of Professor Albert Nagasawa. A wonderful guy. A world hero. This is the same guy who invented a 3-minute antidote to cyanide poison. He was the chief scientist of the US Marine at a point in time. He was a professor. He is still alive. A professor in 3 different fields: medicinal chemistry, toxicology, and pharmacology. So, Director of Quality Assurance, it was not a mistake that he said the invention. It is actually graded as an invention. It's actually an invention. And that is why we call it advanced ribosine technology. Advanced ribosine. That it is the highest technology in terms of glutathione supplementation as we speak. And I checked just before coming on this stage. It is still the most advanced in the world. There is none like it. But it took him 25 years to get this. How many years? 25 years studying to get this with NIH grant. Close man. When I grow up, I want to be like you. She's clap for her. She's the only one with NIH grant here. I'm going to get NIH grant too. I must get it. Okay? Professor Nagasawa used NIH grant to do all this research for 25 solid years. But glutamic acid, cysteine, and glycine are what you need to actually produce as much glutathione as possible. In your body, you have enough glutamic acid, right? In your body, you have already enough glycine. The problem is always with cysteine that is carrying the sulfhydride group, the SH group that is so needed. And because cysteine is needed by so many pathways in the human body, it's now categorized no longer as just ordinary amino acid, but semi-essential amino acid. Unlike before that, we are categorized as not essential. It is now semi-essential. So you need to supplement it. If cysteine is taken again orally, bioavailability is almost zero. At best, somebody is giving you a placebo, somebody is either giving you a job, somebody is giving you a shampoo, or somebody is taking your money. It will never work. So the solution eventually came. Having tried so many things to protect the state, eventually come upon rivals. And when this gate right thought, he said he regarded it as power point from where? Who knows? Power point from heaven, that's where he called it. He said it was not human weight that gave you. 25 solid years eventually came up with rivals. Rivals then served as a covering, as a shell to protect what? Sustain. And we have what we call what? Rivals name. I'm going to pray for all of you. I will pretend to be a pastor here. I will pretend to be a pastor. I will pray for my provost. Man, God will make you like Ribosi before your enemies. Don't you love our provost? Man, again, God will make you like Ribosi before your enemies. Because when Ribosi carry system, gets inside your mouth, in your throat, in your body, in your stomach, in your intestine, your enzymes will just be looking. They wouldn't know that ribosine is carrying what? System. And something drastic happens. When that ribosine gets inside your cell, what happens? A separation exists. Ribosine goes on its way to increase the molecules of ATP. System is used in making. Put your time. Please, if you are on internet, Google this right away. Just start to Google. What we were using before now was NHC. I will mention the proprietary name. N-acetyl cysteine. These have been well documented to increase the glutathione level by over 300%. And here is the data. 300% more efficient in raising glutathione level than. So if you are still talking about, maybe, by the way, may you never be going about it outdated information. Done in my whole lab, we published by God's grace this year, where Dr. Fasomade is aware of this study as well, but I'm sure it's probably not aware of the sensitivity, the ribosine aspect that we have used. I mean, you remember that at our AGM meeting of the Endocrine and Metabolic Society of Nigeria in 2007, we recommended in Nigeria that no patient of ours should be placed on anything other than insulin in pregnancy. And I don't care, please, I'm rounding up now. When ribosine was discovered by Professor Nagasawa, he looked for other ways, just like every scientist in the world, to still improve it further. And what did he do? He looked for 12 other ingredients that could help increase the efficiency and the potency of this product. And this is what we have. We call it cell-gravity. Some people call it longevity, while others call it celebrity. I know my God will grant you the two, both celebrity and longevity. A lot of people have taken a lot of energy drinks, right? If you have never taken energy drink, wave to God. If you have never, in your life, you have never taken energy drink, only very few people, all of you. May you never take all those energy drinks again. 12. Is there anyone here that knows somebody who does not eat at all, but yet grows very fat? Wave unto God. So many, very good. When in the last couple of months, a few years back, we just discovered that there is a metabolic switch in the human body known as the AMPK, adenosine monophosphate dependent kinase protein metabolic switch. What does it do? It's what, as they practice, a switch in the human body. Once that switch, man, is working optimally, no matter what that individual what he does. If you gym like a maniac, you start by starvation, you will never lose weight. If that which is working optimally with your lifestyle, you are not likely to gain weight. I'm sure we have heard about Evangelist Steve Scott, amazing guy, the CEO of this wonderful company. And then we have a lot of testimonies from the partner. And most of the things I've told you here today have been validated by other scientists. Know somebody? Yes. Did you hear me? Yes. For the rest of my life, I'm going to take this product. To take excellent care of this body. You need adequate level of glutathione to survive this hostile war. If you are not on ribosine technology, you are most likely dangerously existing. There is no substitute for good health. Health is our greatest possession. We have a duty to procure, to protect, and preserve it. Our future depends on maintaining a sound mind in a healthy body. Ladies and gentlemen, may you all enjoy long life and perfect health. Thank you and God bless.
That he has the ability as a salesman. Please let's give him another round of applause. We'll go straight to the third lecture. Clinical experiences with ribosine by Dr. James Okieke Osobu, who I am told will only speak for 10 minutes. Please, can you have you? Let's keep clapping for him to begin.
Yes, please allow me to stand in existence. I am Dr. James Osobu. I'm just here to share some of some clinical experiences that we've had with ribosine in the past few years. You see, Dr. Abraham is one of my mentors. He's really passionate with everything that he does. And he actually has almost everything more than me, except with the time, of course. And it's amazing how he likes to share. He has more knowledge, more exposure, more experience, even more money, even though I'm still waiting for him to share that one with me too. Well, I'm going to share 10 minutes some of our experiences with ribosine. I was in Ghana. I was working in Ghana when Max International first came to Africa. That was the first time I had contact with ribosine. A friend told me about it, and I remember being very skeptical, because I felt that anything that should be this significant, at least I should have heard about it a lot before. But thinking back into medical school, they didn't really lay as much emphasis on glutathione as Dr. Abraham just did here with us today. So I actually think we should actually spend more time in the medical school educating the students and doctors about glutathione. See, when I heard about it, even though I was skeptical initially, I decided to give it a try, because in medicine we learn every day, and I did my own personal research. 42-year-old diabetic type 2 baby. She was on several oral anti-diabetic agents and was also being placed on insulin, but still her sugar levels were terrible and were not really well controlled. So I remember sitting down with her and explaining to her with research the importance of glutathione in diabetes, because glutathione helps to reduce insulin resistance, helps to improve insulin sensitivity, and actually also helps to boost the immune system in general. So she decided to give it a try, and 2 to 3 weeks after she was placed on ribosine, which is Selgemity, her husband gave me a call. You see, as medical professionals, when you see a client, normally you don't see or hear from them again until they fall sick and come back to the hospital. This was one of the first times I was actually being called by someone I had seen, and her husband gave me a call and was very grateful. He invited me to his house, happy that he had never seen his wife this energy. energetic, and doing really, really well. Apparently, her sugar control had improved a lot. Her energy levels had been boosted, and they even wanted to stop the insulin. But I advised that no, they have to go and review with their physician who was actually in the US. She did that, and they actually took her off the insulin, and that was a very, very important moment for me, because at that moment I really started believing in what we have in Mass International. Then there was this hypertensive man, interesting story. He was on about 3 antihypertensives, but his BP was not very well controlled. When we placed him on Celgevity, 2 weeks later he came to the hospital, and he was very, very excited. Now, someone that his BP is under control shouldn't be as excited as that normally, so we knew there was something else. Then he actually asked us that, is there any chance, is there any way that this actually also helps with erectile dysfunction? Because in a very long time, for the first time, he woke up in the morning and he was not the only one that was rising and shining. Then I was still new, so we actually went back to do our research, and we realized that in Celgevity there's what we call cordyceps. It's one of the ingredients that Dr. Abraham showed us on the slide. Cordyceps is a mushroom extract that's been used to increase libido and helps a lot with erectile dysfunction. So that was really, really amazing case. So we also had this sickle cell disease client that had vaso-occlusion of Celgevity spread really quickly across Ghana. We did the first year when Mass was in Africa. It was in almost every region in Accra, Ghana. So we realized that clients started coming to the hospital to even ask their doctors for Celgevity. I remember there was this interesting case of a man with oligospermia, that's low sperm count. He actually came, his physician was actually a professor who didn't really know about Celgevity at the moment, but he came to the consulting room requesting to be placed on Celgevity because of what he had heard from his friends. And of course, the doctor advised him against it because he was not aware. But the client insisted and requested that his sperm count be checked before it starts, and then 1 or 2 months later it should be rechecked. And this was done, and to our surprise, the professor actually emailed us with the report, and it showed over 1 million new sperm after just about a month or 2 of use. And he was really, really impressed, and he wanted to actually know more about it. So he came down to the office and we told him everything that we knew about Celgevity. Yeah, there's one more I really want to share because it has a lesson. There's HIV really has this stigma attached to it. So a lot of people that are HIV positive, they undergo treatment without people knowing about it. So there was this lady, 39-year-old single mom who had HIV. She was being managed with the usual antiretroviral agents, and one of my friends actually also placed her on Celgevity because real-time helps to boost the immune system, helps in the T cells, and helps a lot in recovery from these chronic illnesses. So what happened was that 3 weeks down the lane, there was one quiet morning during OPD. We just had a lot of drama and fuss going outside, happening outside. We came out and we saw this woman screaming and dancing. My HIV is gone, my HIV is gone, my HIV is gone. It was a sight to behold. But we actually knew that she was not saying the right thing. So we tried to calm her down, brought her into the consulting room and explained to her that there's no way her HIV can be gone. She actually almost slapped my friend who was explaining to her that HIV was not gone. We actually had to repeat a HIV test to show her that she still has HIV, but then we reassured and explained to her that what the ribosine had done, that helped boost her immune system. system. It actually increased her CD4 count, boosted her immune system. So the symptoms that she was experiencing regularly from the depressed immunity have all improved. So that's why she actually assumed that her HIV was gone. I could go on and on and on about some of our experience, but there's one that is personal to me that I really want to share. You see, before I came back to to Nigeria, my fiance, she's an asthmatic. She used to have this very severe attacks. At least every 2 weeks. It was so bad that at one point she attempted pulling out of the relationship because she thought that it was weighing down on me and weighing down on our relationship and everything. I felt really bad about that. So when I came back to Nigeria, I placed her on surgery because I know that asthma has to do with is an inflammatory process, and glutathione helps a lot with anti-inflammation and also helps to clear the airways. And I can boldly say that in a year and 6 months after when she has been using the charity, she has had only about 4 or 5 attacks, and they were not even as severe as the previous ones she used to. Now, before she couldn't even exert herself too much, but now she's actually registered in the gym and goes to the gym almost every day. It had an impact in her life. It improved the quality of not just her life, but mine as well, because I could now sleep well in peace without being worried so much of one attack here or the other. And you know what's bad is that when you are far away and you just get a call, that call over the phone, that something is wrong somewhere and there's nothing you can do about it from where you are. So this ribosine has had an amazing impact, not just my life, but the lives of so many people out there. And that's why we're here now in Nigeria, to actually take this technology to every corner of Nigeria, to actually impact as many lives as we can. And there's no how we'll be able to achieve all that without everyone's help here. So I actually thank you for your audience, and I know that you are going to help to spread the good word about ribosine.